about drafting on the offense, and I do agree with it. But this is the gap in the conversation. The Eagles have a bunch of defensive free agents that could leave. I mean, hear me out. I agree. They got to take offense. All right. Reed Blankenship leaves. Who you replacing him with? Jaelan Phillips leaves, which obviously you've talked about. Who you replacing him with?
Well, you got to replace.
They might have to go defense. I
mean,
are you going to sign a Dory to a Timu guy to replace Reed?
If they don't get Jaelan Phillips back, edge rusher is top of the list. That jumps all the way up, even though they want to go receiver. Understand they're operating with the plan that they're going to re-sign Jaelan Phillips. That's what they're operating with. That is number one priority in pre-agency. Re-sign Jaelan Phillips.
Howie was honest when he spoke about it, though. He did say, I'm not going to let the third-round pick trade, change our evaluation for a future contract, which, I did. Did you think Howie was more honest this time, or was it just me? It feels like he's being more and more honest each year, which I like.
I think he was very honest this year because he wants people to understand what's going on, because he understands the PR ramifications of they're not doing this, they're not doing this. He gets it all the time. Well, they're not doing this, and they signed this guy, and so he's trying to get as much on the record as possible. Even if somebody like I say it, they say, "Well, that's McMullen. Who cares?" If he says it, it's hard to ignore because he's the one doing it. So, for whatever reason, people don't trust reporters, whatever. So he's telling you what we've told you is going on. And that changes if they don't get Jaelan Phillips. Yes, that changes. And then people like Akeem Messidor and TJ Parker, I don't think they would. I don't think they would trade for Maxx Crosby. Look, I know how much they love Myles Garrett. I know how much they love Micah Parsons. Like, I'm not saying I think, I know. I've not heard that same sentiment around Maxx Crosby. Now, they don't play the Raiders. They never see the Raiders. It might be just like it's never on the top of people's minds because
because
of that.
But players that have, reached a certain caliber, I think you'd hear about. It's a good point. I mean, you haven't heard that type of thing. And it seems like, John, they're asking for that type of return, which I don't think they're going to get.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're going to get it, but yeah. So from that standpoint, and plus, I'm concerned that guy plays so much, never leaves the field. Like, he's a very good player. I'm not saying he's not a very good player. I don't think he's the best fit for Vic. There's so much wear and tear because of how much he's played. I just don't think that would end up well. I don't think the Eagles would go that route. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my speculation.
I agree.
So I think, Messidor, guys like Messidor, TJ Parker, Keldrick Falk, and maybe a little bit too big for Vic. But those are the guys. Maybe Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. Those are the guys who I think would really, I'm not even thinking about now because my presumption is they're going to get Phillips back. But if they don't, then they'll jump way up in my mindset. Way up.
Good point. We'll see what ends up happening with it. Good stuff, everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here. We got some super chats we will get to today. I'm coming to you live from Smoky Mountain, Tennessee. How about that? Gatlinburg, Tennessee. In the Smokies, if you're wondering why I have a different backdrop, why I might look a little bit, why my internet might be a little fuzzy. I'm not sure exactly what it looks like. John, how about this for a little piece of Gatlinburg? Okay, I got a mug here with a cup of coffee.
All right, I like the mug. That thing's big. That looks big.
What would Dolly do?
All right.
I guess Dolly Parton. I think that's a big part of this place. I guess there's like Dollywood or something around here.
Oh,
I don't know. That's what I've been told.
really?
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
know
So
Dollywood. I didn't
Dolly
know
Parton
Dollywood.
has made an appearance on the show today. So shout out to Dolly Parton. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hit that like button. All right, shout out to Fritz and Bianculli for sponsoring the show today. We appreciate them. John, my next topic here before we get to the great Ed Kratz coming up is Dallas Goedert. And I think many believe that Dallas Goedert will be gone. Howie kind of left the door open, but I gotta ask you this, and you're gonna have to put on your salary cap shoes today, John, and help me with this. Dead cap is the cap hit for Goddard this year is showing as $20,493,640, and that same number remains on the dead cap. Now, I'm not smart enough to understand exactly what that means. Dallas Goedert is not under contract, and he is a free agent. That is the cap number that it's listed on SpotTrack.com, associated with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2026. What does that mean? How do you reason with that? And how much of an impact does that have on the decision for Dallas Goedert? Where I'm presuming, John, and maybe my presumption is wrong, that if you bring Goddard back, you can do it how he does, take that $20 million and chop it all the way down to probably 6 or 7 or whatever it would be, spread it out a little bit, and keep Goddard under contract. Is that likely? What do you make of that cap hit and dead cap number this year for the Eagles? Because it's pretty significant. And how much does it mean for the Goddard talks?
Well, I think one of the things, dead money is already spent money, so it's already out the door. So I think, again, that's where
it is on the cap hit too, though. Is there a difference there?
Oh, yeah, no, the cap hit is different, but the dead money is money already spent. That's not going anywhere. That's just the price you pay when you have so many voidable years. So, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 void years on Dallas Goedert's contract that is now expired. So, because he made a lot of money for a long time, and that's how they lighten the salary cap load. Eventually, like any credit card, that comes home to roost, and it will come home to roost. The cap hit will accelerate, so that's other than an extension, which obviously you just kick the can down the road, but ultimately, and that will help you short term with the cap, but ultimately you're going to have to pay it because of all the voidable years. So there's 2 ways you can look at it. If you want the player back, you kick the can down the road, and you make things better for this season. If he's gone, if he leaves, you got to deal with what you got to make your bed, basically. And this is why, I think their total dead money is 75 million, which is 3rd or 4th in the league. I forget. This is how they do business. This is how you build big time teams. People say, well, they can sign anybody, they can do anything, and Howie's a genius. Well, no, he's a good bookkeeper for the short term, and then eventually, when these players leave, and the best case scenario is you get a bunch of good years and you win championships and you get to the playoffs, and the Eagles have done that. But when these guys leave, you gotta pay the credit card bill eventually. So that's basically where it is when it comes to, again, Jeffrey's already approved the dead money hit. That's nothing to worry about. But the cap stuff is, it limits you, which is why they're acting the way they're acting these past 2 years. That's why.